In this movie, I'm going to talk about how to create terrain in a Unity game. Terrain can be created one of three ways. The first way is to create a terrain object and then shape it by hand. The second way is to import something called a height map that is a pre-made terrain that will allow you to basically have a terrain that then you can modify. The third way is to design your own terrains using Photoshop. Now, all of these are things that we talk about in class, but I will not cover in this movie, except for the built-in terrain object, which I'm going to use right now. So go to Game Object 3D Terrain, and you'll see that Unity gives you a terrain object. Over here in the inspector, under terrain, you have a variety of tools that you can use to shape the terrain. The first one is used to raise or lower the terrain. Before we use it though, let me change my view so that I can see just a little better what's going on. Alright, I select the terrain raise and lower tool, and then I select a brush. Now notice I can change the size and the opacity of my brush. But you can see as I drag it, I get terrain. And of course I can zoom in on that and see what that looks like. And this looks like I've created some mountain ranges. Let me use a different brush. Now I find that a lot of times when you drag your brush slowly, the mountains build up quickly. But if I drag my brush quickly, the mountains build up slowly. There are obviously a lot of different brushes that you can use to create terrain. Now, one of the most useful tools I find is the smooth height tool. So when I use that, basically what it does is smooth out the terrain. And I can shape it. Very honestly, what I really need to do is to zoom in a little bit and then use my smoothing tool, and then I can really kind of see what's going on with it. Obviously, terrain creation is a lot of fun, but it's also very complicated in order to get the exact terrain you want. So I invite you to play around with it, experiment, see what you can come up with.